Hello and welcome to the Economic Recovery and Transformation Forum. Thank you all so much for the work you're doing. Ensuring that we have an educated and well-trained workforce is critically important, especially now as we all work to get our state's economy back on track. As a former educator and longtime advocate for workforce development, I understand that our competitiveness and prosperity depend on the skills and abilities of our workers. I know that it is so important that we make the vital connections between the drivers of economic growth and the skills and knowledge we're offering to our workers. That's why I'm fighting to include provisions in the Workforce Investment Act that would encourage communities and states to make these connections at every level of education and training. I believe that workforce investment boards, like the ones many of you are involved in, are uniquely positioned to shape the future economic strength of the communities you serve. Your work with key stakeholders that will help ensure that Washington State workers are prepared for the high-wage, high-skilled jobs of the future. I know the challenges that you face every day, and as a senior member of the Appropriations Committee, I work to ensure that the funds for the WIA could be used to contract whole classes with institutions of higher education, as well as other eligible training providers. During these challenging economic times, we need this added flexibility to help workers access critical training quickly. We need to do more work to ensure that supportive services and needs-based payments are put in place to help adults who face multiple employment barriers stay in the training that will put them on the path to economic self-sufficiency. I also work to ensure that adult funds could also be used for adult education, including basic or English language education, so long as these services are provided in connection with the job an individual is preparing for. And boards can use the contracting authority we provided them to provide these services as well. Programs like our own iBest have taught us that adults in need of basic education and skills development can succeed in training and the workplace and can do so quicker than most would expect when they learn in the context of a career that interests them. I hope that this provision encourages other providers to follow their lead. I know that there have been some challenges contracting for class size or for a set number of students, but I'm confident that we can work through these challenges and that the added flexibility will allow us to serve more workers in a timely manner. And as we look forward to 2010 appropriations for WIA and the reauthorization of this important bill, my colleagues and I will be examining the impact that the added flexibility has had on the system. I know that many of you here are grant writers, and others are on state or regional teams pursuing national competitive grants. I strongly encourage you to stay in touch with each other and work together to rally our state's talent and deploy our resources efficiently. That is why this conference is so important. Exchanging ideas and forming partnerships is exactly what needs to happen to ensure that Washington State has access to the resources that we need to help our workers and turn around our economy. I'm excited that we have significant resources flowing to workforce development, and our workers will benefit most if we have a coordinated approach to winning these grants. So I'm really happy that all of you are together in this room, collaborating and sharing resources. Thank you again for making me a part of your program. I especially want to thank Eleni Papadakis and the entire Workforce Board. You've done great work strengthening our workforce and economic development coordination in Washington State, and I'm proud to support your efforts from here in Washington, D.C. I also want to recognize Governor Gregoire for her work on this issue, as well as for her work with the Employment Security Department to make Washington State's WorkSource centers the central hub for listing jobs created by the Recovery Plan. And I'm very excited that after an 11-year drought, we are going to bring back the Summer Youth Employment Program this year. We have a long way to go before our state moves past this recession, but the work that you are all doing in Washington State is a giant step in the right direction. And you can continue to count on an ally in Washington, D.C. who understands the value of your work. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference, and thank you for making me a part of it.